I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Jean-Philippe Beaudet, the co-founder of HODLCommunity. JP, welcome to the show, and thanks for taking the time to be here today.
It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Yeah, I'm really excited for HODLCommunity. I know you have an interesting twist on algorithmically backed financial systems, and I want to dive into the details. If we could just kick it off from yourself with an overview and the focus of HODLCommunity and some of the problems that your team is solving for, that would be great.
Yeah, okay. In a very short, it comes from my whole experience in the crypto sphere in general. I've been passionate about crypto for a few years now, and when I began to get interested in there, the ICO was like in the beginning of the beginning, and this is how I learned about the tokenization, and it got me to basically identify large problems there. It's an extremely good project, and without doing all the return toward the story of Bitcoin and why Bitcoin had to be exchanged against money, and the fact that Bitcoin and fiat needed to be connected together created these new monster created that we call the exchangers, which are very practical, but at the same time created a problem in which basically it created a new trader environment, kind of a stock market type of environment through crypto that basically encouraged speculation. And the whole tokenization became extremely speculative from that. Some project escaped it better than other. So to return to the essence of why HODLC is the main problem that we identify for mass adoption is not necessarily the education. Education is making its way, but it is not as necessary as people think. Educating to financial freedom and sovereignty is an idealistic stance, which is very good. But on the practical sides of things, most of the people don't really need that. People need to be able to leverage their finance in a better way. This is what they want in their life. So the real problem that we have identified in this is the speculation part of the market. It is what basically refrain most of the normal everyday Joe consumers to get into crypto. And if they do, they'll need financial advice. They'll need someone experienced to guide them. So basically, we just redone the whole broker fiat legacy world all over again. And that is one of the most core problem that HODLC has identified and is trying to fix. And one of the good contender projects to say that we're going to fix that problem was the stable token. It was a very good project that was coming from the lack of liquidity. Basically, it was hard to bank or to get money, so stablecoin were invented, and they just became this unit of exchange that everyone wants. And that basically got a little with the volatility, but it's still attached to this fiat legacy world. So it comes back to, again, just printing new digital money. It didn't fix anything at the basis of it. So the stance of HODLC is that there is a new way to consider price discovery that basically render price discovery useless in the context of a store of value, and in the context of this store value serving as a mean of exchange on the normal legacy world, bridging the fiat and legacy world to the people without the need for speculation. And this is why we speak about algorithmic, is that basically an algorithm is a logic, it's a set of rules. And in that case, our protocol has two sets of rules, very simple. Anyone can understand it, anyone can see the effect of it. And these two rules being well understood creates a network of people accepting to trade within these rules. And these rules will protect you from volatility. Basically, it will prescribe how the price and the value of the asset should behave in time. And we added to that a very particular add-on. It has never been done before, but HODLC would not be considered as a standard token. It is not transferable. And that is one of the most exceptional law in there, is that it is non-transferable. So basically, when you have HODLC, you can buy or you can sell it, and there is no way you can choose whom you're buying or you're selling to. It is all managed through decentralized order book, very simplistic, that goes first in, first out. So in this way, you just prevented, or you just ungained the thing for anyone to have a chance of manipulating the price. It is not worth it. It is not really possible. The only thing that could be changed is time. Basically, it will take more or less time for you to get your investment out once you decide to liquidate. So this has completely changed the game. It is not the same way anymore. And one of the biggest advantage of this way to proceed, apart from not losing value, of course, is that it is actually a fairer form of capitalism in some way, because everyone that actually acts in the HODLC network, whether they are acting on the decentralized network, or whether they're going to go into the project that we are releasing for general consumer public, in any case, their action will have an effect for everyone at the same time. There is no need for anyone to lose value for others to preserve and to gain value over time. And this creates this network of confidence in which people mutually protect their value and mutually protect their wealth increase by continuing to take on these consumer everyday services. And the way we believe we can achieve that is not with a token. Of course, the token or the HODLC digital asset is a mean to an end. So the idea there is we are speaking about what we call the ecosystem. And the ecosystem is a set of services that are intended for everyday people and general consumer service. So we speak here about a free, secure payment system that basically enables the merchant to get money in HODLC without any slippage, because there is no slippage. So there will not be loss of value over time. The value will continue slowly to move following the protocol. So it gives a reasonable predictability. So anyone accepting this as a payment can, as a matter of fact, hold it if they wish to gain more value, or can change it right away, and they will not have lost value. So that makes for a free payment system. Think about Visa, MasterCard, and all the fees around. This makes it for off-chain settlement service, which can be scalable, contrary to much of the blockchain solution now would not be able to handle the type of volume we expect there. And so it's to give you an example. We have a lot of these services, and I won't go over all of them. It's to give you an example that the HODLC there is just a mean that enables the businesses to leverage the predictability of the asset to give to general consumer a better service for means of exchange. And by doing that, basically, it creates support for this ecosystem in which people can continue preserving more value. And every time you use this payment system, you're basically benefiting the whole community at the same time. No need to give donation, no need to, you're basically participating into a form of altruistic finance, which is not about giving anything. It's just about knowing that together in a network, we can create more wealth preservation. We can create more value. We can create more traction. And this becomes this generalized consensus effort to preserve wealth. And this is why we believe that this can beat the concept of price discovery in many, many occasions. It will not work in a world of equity or a world of companies. We're not going there. But in the world of exchange money, meaning that people are exchanging value, this is exactly applying, because no one wants to lose value. Everyone wants to gain value, from the consumer to the merchant to the investor in the network to lenders into our lending platform. Everyone wants to gain value. And there is a way to make the circle of value beneficial for everyone. And this is what we are speaking when we say we want to create fairer capitalism. Sorry for the very long answer.
And that was great, JP. You covered a lot of breadth there. You touched on a lot of things like removing the speculation, talked about stable coins, talked about the algorithm, and the platform seems like it's very unique compared to a lot of these other platforms that are in the cryptocurrency industry right now. And I'm curious to learn a little bit more about the growth parameters and the rules that you were talking about. And so when you, as a user, put funds into the HODLC platform, there's a specific growth parameter that grows that, and is that predicted or that can change? And are you also able to withdraw the funds at any time?
Yeah, so these are very, very good questions. So I'll start by the way the protocol is set. So there is two rules there. So we name them the dynamic rule and the temporal rule. And I'm going to explain why it's a yes and a no to your question. So one of these rules is unpredictable, and one of these rules is totally predictable, which is important because it gives what we call reasonable predictability. Basically, it gives you the baseline of the growth of the value, but you can never predict this the first rule. So the dynamic rule is based on activity. Activity is defined within the contract or within the understanding as a transaction or a successful transaction between two individuals. So the way the order book is done is a little complex, and we can dive later more on it. But you can create more than one transaction in a row because you can never know exactly the order of people offering you in the next. And if let's say that you're buying 10,000 HODL and there's five in a row trade of 2,000, you will actually create five transactions successfully between five different individuals. So you have created five increase. And this increase is a static value that is 100 of a cent, a penny, or if you prefer, a 1/10,000th of a US dollar, 0.0001. So every time a successful transaction between these two individuals happen, this will create a growth in the value. What happened is that every time someone will sell, every time someone decides that it's okay, they need to liquidate or they want to liquidate, then they accept at that day that the value of that specific second, at that specific moment, is the value of the trade they will sell. And this price is locked. So, and it plays an important role because there's time where there's not much of these cells, there's time where there's a lot of them. And what will happen is that the more there is, the more you're going to create a discount, natural discount effect. So basically, the system ensures that you're always buying the lowest price. Then if there is none, if there's nothing to sell there, you're going to buy from a reserve. The project initially started with a reserve. All pre-minted tokens were not distributed to anyone. They were distributed in the smart contract itself and has been bought and sold since then. One day the reserve there will be empty. There will never be more than 40 million of these tokens out there. So once that happens and there's no seller, people will create a buy order following the same exact rule. The second rule is based on time and is probably the easiest to understand. It's that every 24-hour cycle, there will be a small increase. For now, it represents 0.19%, and this will go down over time. For now, it gives a generous APR if you calculate that over a year, very generous, but it's going down. And in time, over 30 years, it's going to become a 5%. But at that time, if you see the mathematics of how the value of the asset will grow at that time, so 5% will represent a significant increase, but we're just not there yet. So why that is because first there is a benefit for the first mover in the business side. So the idea is that this community will work if we create successful businesses for everyday consumer. This is our take. If we don't succeed in that, we don't see that we're gonna be able to promote this new economy. So to do that, we needed to create an environment that is favorable for these businesses to be the first mover. So the first 5 years there will be very, very cool and generous for these companies, but they are also taking a significant risk to go into the crypto environment.
Great.
So this is how we see this, and these two rules can always be seen. You can calculate it on a calculator and have a reasonable idea, but the idea is we can never know how much transaction per day there will be in time. It is everyone comes up with different number. We have no planification over all the business will affect this, but the idea is it will always be unpredictable, and this is the cool side of it. So you never know how much exactly it's going to grow, but you know how much it can grow at a minima. And this minima is very important because the businesses can calculate their business return over something that is reasonably predictable, knowing that the margin they cannot calculate is a bonus. So that creates a good environment to deal with this. And so this is a bit how we have framed this to propose a new way to deal with price discovery, a new way to say what is supposed to work what. And it creates a different risk. And because in the crypto sphere, you have a big risk. You know, you're going to get, you can lose value or your value could go to zero. That's significantly bad. You have bought some asset and eventually, it goes to zero or near zero, and you feel that you have lost most of you. In our system, you cannot lose value. It's just right impossible. But what you can lose is time. So, and I want to be super transparent here that there is no crypto network with no risk in the world. That does not exist. What we have decided to do is to replace the risk into a matter of time, making that if there will be a bottleneck of too much sellers due to event or whatever, you would have a longer time to liquidate your assets. but you will not lose the value from the time you decided to liquidate it. And this is what, in time, I think is going to win the argument. And the more that we're going to create these network effect by creating these projects, such as HP, HTrust, HGlobal, everything that we're going to release, every time it will create more network effect because there will be more people using the same assets, so creating more velocity, so more traction for businesses to use it. So this is a cycle that we're aiming at creating here.
Definitely. And you mentioned, JP, that the incentives for the people that are joining early on are a lot higher, and there's that diminishing effect. In terms of when the platform launched, can you give us a snapshot of how early on is it right now?
It is very early. We have been trading for nearly a year. It's going to be a full year in 10 days now. But the idea is we have to understand that we are barely known and understood yet, and we understand why, because we're not coming with something that people know. It's not like something we can say, hey, let's do staking with that much APR. It's understood. You have a network for that and stuff. What we are proposing there is so new that for some people it's either too good to be true. For some other people, they say it cannot go because it defies price discovery, and no one has ever done that. So there's many reasons to have doubt, and this takes some time in education. So I'll say that we're very early. We got from 1,000 cents to $2.80, but $2.80 is quite nothing there. It's not. We have had good transaction. We have a volume that goes like 50,000 per week, which is okay for a very, very much starting crypto. We have not listed on any exchange because we do not believe in exchange. So we are not an ERC20. We would probably have more volume if we would list on exchange, but this is not our goal. Our goal is to create the bridge between the fiat and the crypto world. So we have opened our own exchange instead. And we are creating this exchange in a way that it will behave as a liquidity partner instead of a speculation environment. So these are our things to do. We're working on that for a few months. And but we have found ways to release this service in a way that people can interact with crypto in a relatively more easy way without the hassle of always checking volatility and being a quick trader and knowing how to handle signal, or going to a broker, which is probably the best thing to do at that case, and to get some financial knowledge. And so what we want to make it is, can you drive a car without understanding the whole mechanic on it? Yes. This is what we want to create as a situation for crypto in a way that people can exchange value all over the world instantly for free, in a way that they basically contribute to the overall health of the economy, which is incredibly powerful.
Definitely. And we're running short on time, JP, but for the viewers that are looking to learn more about the platform, get involved, and learn more about HODLC, what's the best way for them to reach out?
I would say that going to our Telegram is the way that people get answers and help. It is mainly our technical help outlet. Also, we have the HODLCommunity.org. So HODLCOMMUNITY.org is a website. You can have access to everything there. And if you want to explore just to see how it behaves, there is good graphic and knowledge and insight if you go to the HODLDEX, HODLDEX.io. So the HODLDEX is a good way to explore transaction, how it has behaved over time, what has been the last year. You have also calculator there, and please remember that calculator are always simulation. No one can ever predict the number of transactions. It will use the last 7 days average by default if you go there, but you can play with it depending on your assumptions. You can also put it to 0 to see what we call the minima, meaning that the reasonable value increase that you can count on even if there were no transaction, which will not happen, of course, but which we consider to be the basis on which you can calculate your business return if you decide to adopt HODLC in your businesses.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, JP. I will leave all those links as well in the description box below for the viewers. All the best with the platform moving forward, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure.